whereas we think, oh, all men after a certain age need Viagra, for example, which isn't true.
Mm-hmm.
Another myth is that we lose interest in sex as we get older, and we talked about desire. We may lose some of the spontaneous desire for sex, or that feeling of I need. It's no longer a need, but you're still very motivated for sex. You still have, your interest is there. Your spontaneous desire may not be there, but your interest in sex is absolutely there. It is alive and well and usually stays there. So that's certainly one of the big myths. And another one is that the quality of sex declines as we age. And again, studies have shown that the quality actually improves. It's that quality over quantity thing. So all the studies that I looked at really showed that it doesn't decline with age, that the quality, people can actually be much more satisfied with their sex lives as they age.
That's nice. Very, very reassuring.
Yeah.
But I have a couple more that, when we come back, I'll say a couple more that I was thinking of, see what you think of them.
Sure.
And I love that, because we didn't prepare what we were going to talk about. We just kind of went on the sperm of the moment.
Yes, the sperm of the moment.
Remember Archie Bunker used to say that? What a kick in the groin and on the sperm of the moment, right? So, yeah, I'll lay a few on you when we come back, but let me just give you a couple tweets before we take a break. And here's one that confirms what you're saying. Sex over 50 can still be nifty. And our sexual thermometer is actually a health barometer.
Uh-huh.
So I want to talk about that, too, because a lot of times when you think, oh, I'm just old, no, it's a sign something's not working right health-wise. And I want to talk about that more when we come back. And for many women, what's in your pants is less important than the romance.
Very true.
So let's just take a brief break, and I'm going to be back with you in a moment on Ask Dr. Love Radio.
You are listening to Ask Dr. Love with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. If you yearn to get along better with your life partner or spouse, friends, family members, and even coworkers, Dr. Love's latest Hay House book, Kiss Your Fights Goodbye, Dr. Love's 10 simple steps to cooling conflict and rekindling your relationship, shows you how to turn conflict into connection for a lifetime of lasting love. Find out more about this book and even read a free excerpt by visiting AskDrLove.com. This is Ask Dr. Love with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. And if you have a question for her, make sure to watch live over Google Hangouts or YouTube, where you can submit your comments or questions and connect with Dr. Love in real time. Or listen to the archived show at webtalkradio.net. This show is for you, the listeners, and Dr. Love wants to hear from you. You're listening to Ask Dr. Love with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. Once again, here's Dr. Love.
Welcome back to Ask Dr. Love Radio. I'm Dr. Jamie Turndorf, talking with Dr. Laurie Betito about perfect passion after 50. And before we took the break, I wanted to talk about some of the other myths. And here are a couple that I was thinking of. What do you think about this one? Mm-hmm. This one, I think, comes from, often women think this one. If you're having sex with someone, it must be a serious relationship.
Right.
Yeah. And especially, because of the generation that we came from, lots of times, the women thought, we weren't having sex unless it was love and marriage and babies, and can't
that's
assume
changing. That. Yeah, that's changing as we're seeing so many more baby boomers involved in the online dating and even Tinder and things like that. So yeah. I think that's changing a bit, right?
And I even see it with young women. They think, I'm going to use my sexuality as a hook, to hook the person in. And if we're having sex, he must love me. And you'll see people making that mistake, young and old.
Well, part of the problem, too, is that when women have sex, they, that oxytocin is released, right? So the bonding hormone. So they feel much more bonded than the guys do. We have much more of that hormone. So they can misinterpret that or get hurt more easily because they get more attached once they have sex.
Very, very true. And it's so true, the oxytocin, or what they call the cuddle hormone. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's so much better for women because, you can't fight your biology and you do bond. It's best to be more comfortable about the relationship, and be clear that you're both on the same page before you jump into the sack, because you can get hurt.
Yeah,
so unless you're both on the same page and you just want to have, like, friends with benefits.
And even that has a risk because
you're still going to get attached.
Yeah, exactly.
You will get attached. And, it's just natural. People say, well, men don't get attached. But even, when you read the studies, men who go to prostitutes, they get attached too. It's a naturally bonding experience. So.
And you know what? Older men tend to want more bonding. That's what I've noticed, is that the older guys want the intimacy and not so much the sex. I mean, they want the sex, but that's less important.
Right? As the testosterone diminishes, they become much more like the way we've always wanted them to be, more about intimacy. Yes.
That's exactly.
And here's another one I always like to think about. A lot of times people think, oh, I'm too old to worry about STDs.
Oh, no, you're not.
That's a biggie, right?
Oh, I have to tell you that I do talks in in residences, seniors residence, where the average age is like 82, and I always go there with a big bowl of condoms and my condom demonstrator and my slides, and I show them how to put it on. And why is that? Because the statistics are showing that the greatest increase in STIs is in the elderly population. And in talking with them, I started to see, first of all, women far outnumber the men in these seniors residences. So what you have is 2 or 3 guys going from room to room. Like they have multiple partners.
The guy's wet dream. He's now like servicing this harem of women.
At 85 years old.
Like, damn,
he's in heaven.
It's like, oh my God. And I'm giving them all herpes,
Yeah,
oh
great.
My God.
I'm telling people now, it's like if you really want to get a lot of action when you're older, move into a senior's residence.
Damn, I'll take that under advisement, right? Get the internet dating, right?
It's fun.
Try it.
But you're absolutely right. That's a generation, truly a generation that did not use condoms or use condoms only prior to marriage, right?
That's right.
They didn't even call them condoms. They were French letters, or I don't know what else they were calling them.
Oh, the French ticklers? Was that what that was? No.
The French, the French letter in the war, that's what they were calling them.
Yeah.
And they were only using them for when they knew they were having sex with prostitutes, and it had to do with pregnancy too, right? Pregnancy prevention. So they're not worried about getting their 85-year-old lover pregnant.
Exactly. So, keep it in your pants if you're not going to use condoms. And but this is a whole nother touchy subject is, people don't even know about the dental dams. It's like you can get STDs by doing oral sex on a woman, right? Yeah. Without using a dental dam. So, but how many people are willing to buy a dental dam or cut a condom open and make it into a dental dam and go down on someone, through the latex?
Right. Well, try convincing a woman to give a guy oral sex with a condom, or try convincing the guy that he should wear the condom during oral sex.
Oh, it ain't happening.
It's not happening enough, but it should, but it isn't.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And then the worst thing is, I went to give a talk, and the person who was speaking before me was a gynecologist, and she was talking about STDs. And when she got to the part about pharyngeal herpes, where you give oral sex to a guy or, a woman, and you get it down your throat, and then you end up in the hospital because you're, riddled. I said, that's it, man. I got to turn into Mother Teresa. I heard that one.
I know, it's scary. Well, they have never seen as much throat cancer as they're seeing now. Just through HPV infections and the chlamydia and gonorrhea and all, these viruses also live in the back of your throat, and they can cause like some serious damage.
Mhm. And that's what I think happened to Michael Douglas.
That's what he said, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, who the hell knows? I wasn't there. I didn't do a culture after he went down.
That's right. It wasn't my vagina, so.
I'm pleading the fifth. No.
Exactly.
So, and here's a good one. Many people over 50 think they already know what they like sexually and that they should just stick to the routine, but then they actually, with this stick-in-the-mud attitude, stick it to themselves in the sex department because their bodies are changing,
Yes, and
always
they have
changing.
to adapt. They really need to adapt. When you think about some of the changes that happen, for example, a man, to get the same erection he once had,